Hollywood Babylon. That's right. I am in Heavenly Bills, California, home of Kenneth Anger, who wrote the book Hollywood Babylon. That's right. He wrote the book just based on his own research. All he did was collect a bunch of tabloids, take the stories out of the tabloids, and basically retell them in his book. This is a book that I read way back in the 1980s. Now, the 1980s were a time that have nothing to do with today. Nothing at all. Because everything that they're talking about, we already transcended it. And if my old friends were honest, they would agree. Everything that you guys are talking about in today's society is nothing. I call it media deep blue. So I love this book by Kenneth Anger. And I love Kenneth Anger. Kenneth Anger, he was awarded a film camera. They were giving these cameras out to people, and he just went out and started making films. By the time I was making films, the film stock was too expensive. I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it. And so I mostly worked on student films in New York City. Okay? So one of the films that Kenneth Anger worked on was called Lucifer Rising. And the person who did the music for it, that's right, Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. I talk about Led Zeppelin. I think I talked about Robert Plant maybe yesterday's episode. Can you just got here. I should sit down, drink some water, relax before I start my show, but I don't, because I'm really excited to be here. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I give you $5 if you want to put Cash App on your phone. I give you $10 if you want to go through Coinbase, throw some money on there. It's up to you. But Kenneth Anger, I like him because he's very honest. And honesty is what the internet is all about. I've transcended being even black-pilled. I'm so far removed from any of that. You see mainstream media, they just finally caught up with being red-pilled, and they're saying that, you're a... whatever they're calling people now. I don't know. I don't name-call people. Why? Because it is a ad hominem attack. And you're not attacking them based on what they say. And that's why the right is winning the meme war. And that's why John Lydon, who I really don't like anymore, John Lydon, Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols, I really don't care for him too much anymore. He's just a lout and a drunk. He used to be funny, but he's not. He's just a drunk now. And so Jimmy Page failed to deliver the soundtrack on time to Lucifer Rising. He did put it out, but the reason he didn't was because he was on heroin. And this is the same heroin that John Bonham dipped into in 1980 when they put out the record, the only record that really didn't have much to do with Jimmy Page, In Through the Outdoors. I remember when this record came out, everybody was anticipating it. They were supposed to come to Detroit and play. I couldn't get tickets, whatever. My friends had tickets. And then John Bonham died, right? So he was dipping in. He was hanging out with who? Jimmy Page, right? And so there's that. So let's talk about some Hollywood Babylon stuff. Let's talk about Bam Margera. That's right. Look what's happening to Bam Margera. Now, let's see. Bam Margera was rewarded for his bad behavior. That's right. He can push and slap around his dad, his uncle Vito, or whatever his name is. He can sit there and go, dude, bruh, so gnarly, bruh, so gnarly. Right? He gets rewarded for this bad behavior. Right? But look, the paradigm shifted. he has a warrant out for his arrest right now because he punched his brother. What do brothers do? I told you my sister physically attacked me, which is technically illegal. What am I going to do? Run and call the cops? Oh my God. Yeah. Well, his brother did. What do brothers do? They punch each other. What the fuck do you think? This society is insane. And I don't really care about anything that's in the mainstream, anything that's coming from media deep blue. It is made to trigger you, and everything is knowledge through data discovery. It's called KDD. I love these things. By the way, these things are on sale at Vons. I drink them. I get what's on sale. In case you don't know, I'm living off my payroll taxes. I'm homeless in Los Angeles. But I'm a writer. I'm getting ready to finish my story and blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about Bam. His brain is fried. Now, there's a chick, and she has a podcast, right? And she's from Pennsylvania, bruh. You got to see this thing, man. I'm not going to link it. Go look it up for yourself. I found it very easy. I'm YouTube exclusive. And I want to thank YouTube for letting me have a show. And I'm going to be YouTube exclusive. I'm not going to go to another platform. I have every right to be here. And I'll talk about anything if it's on Wikipedia. Okay? I'm not making up anything. I'm not making up any stories. I don't see what's wrong with talking about the inverse square law of light. And by the way, I said that there has to be an alchemical marriage between the fringe and the mainstream. And who is it? It's Alex Stein. That's what Alex Stein's doing. And it looks like Tucker Carlson will be going maybe to Blaze TV. I think what they really want him to do is to start Tucker TV. Plum Tuckered. So you see they got rid of Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon on the same day. So there's no coordination whatsoever between Fox and CNN. They're putting it in your face. They're putting it right in your dumb face, and nobody's talking about this. I'm the only person to ever bring it up. I looked all yesterday. I didn't hear one person talking about it. How coordinated that was. I mean, are you insane? This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is why the late night talk shows. There's about 7 of them now. When I was a kid, now when I moved to New York City in 1990, Hamina, Johnny Carson was still on TV. That's how long ago it was. I talk about moving to New York City a lot. That's the reason I'm doing my show right now. I'll be doing this show for the next 10 years. I was a very prolific songwriter in Detroit. Nobody gave a shit. And all of a sudden, in 2018, they start giving a shit? They start running game on me? Really? Where is Bam Margera? Where were they melting his brain? His brain is melted. His brain is as melted as mine was in 2018. Go look at him on the show. Go look at him on the show. He is concerned with all the wrong things. They are getting his money. That's what they're doing. And by they, I mean the people involved in this who are getting his money. He actually said that how much he was paying to be in rehab. They are taking it probably directly out of his account. They are bilking him. They are getting his money. Okay? This jogger just went as far as she could go, like away from me. If she could jump through the bushes, she would have jumped through the bushes like a squirrel. Whatever. So, anyways, I'm not here to be liked by anybody who doesn't like me. Okay? I'm not here for false validation. I'm here for camaraderie. Either you like the show and you want to be a comrade. You got to put on a beret and change your name to Shay? Is that it? You got to put on a beret and change your name to Shay? Yeah. Bam Margera's brain is as melted as mine was in 2018. And where is he at? He's in Florida. Okay? And this is what they're doing. They're running algo ops on him. This is electronic warfare. They ran it on me. When I lied to my wife, I said, well, I went and got a lawyer. Okay? That's why I said she showed her hand. She was doing it the entire time. More than likely with the help of her friend Aaron. And like I said, the guy who was melting, well, I don't want to get into too much about that. But Bam Margera, okay, his brain is melted the way mine was in 2018. Where is he at? He's down in Florida, okay? What's at stake? Sorry. What's at stake? All of his money. He's going to be broke. And they're predicting this. They're predicting his behavior. Why? Because they allowed for him to participate in this behavior. That's how he made all of his money. Hey, man, you can do whatever you want. You want to beat up your uncle? You want to slap your own father? Oh, it's hilarious, man. It's fucking hilarious, dude. Just laugh about it, bro. You can make millions. He was obviously exploited, right? We know this. But it's okay. It's okay if he slaps somebody on MTV. Don't forget, I did a lot of work for MTV. Boy, oh man, that thing shot right through my nose. I did a lot of work for MTV back in the day. Okay? And I think the only thing that I think that people in Michigan saw me in was something called Roadhogs or something like that. Somebody had mentioned that. I don't know. I try to tell you, in the 1990s, I didn't have a television. Okay, so I didn't see anything that I was in. I was in commercials. I was in a ton of stuff, right? I wrote about it in my book. It's called Two-Legged Animal. The link is always in the description. I'm getting ready to post this new story. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. You'll see. But, you know, it has to end where it ends, and it is only going to be part 1. And then I'm going to start putting up every month another chapter from Linoleum Blown Apart until it's done. Okay, and that includes the 7 films by Walter. And I'm going to do treatments for each film. I'll be putting up a treatment for each film. Okay? These treatments are only going to be 20 pages long. So it's not some big deal. It's all written in exposition. Okay? You know, the dialogue isn't... It tickled. The dialogue isn't going to be all that creative. It just is what it is. Okay? But that's all right. We're just going to keep going with this. I'm thirsty, guys. I love this stuff right here. Man, look at this. Oh, I love it. It's because it's carbonated, that's why. So, again, we're not looking for validation. We're looking for camaraderie. Okay? And that's the reason I can do my show, is because I have well thought out ideas. Okay? I have well formed notions, thoughts, ideas. I started making videos with my wife. I thought she was a creative person. I didn't know that she hates my guts. I would never give sex and live with a person who I hated. If you're in a relationship like that, I implore you, just get out of it. Just walk away. Just leave. Don't torture a person. And that's what they did to me down in Florida. And that's what they did. They're doing, or they did actually, to Bam. Bam left. Okay? Bam Margera is no longer in Florida. They milked him for his money, and they kept throwing him around. Now, he tried to say that he wasn't on the internet. Okay? They were still melting his brain. Now that he's done with that, what does he do? He's out and he's drinking White Claws. I'm like, this is insane. You guys got to understand this. He said that on this show I just watched, that he was drinking White Claws. Owen Benjamin, he went down a spiral, okay? And what these guys don't want to ever admit is that it came from their device. It came from Instagram. And there's a Fed rat in there. And if somebody doesn't like you, They're going to crank the algorithm on your phone. They're going to target you. And I told you guys yesterday that it's like being screamed at in your face without anybody being there because your fight or flight is heightened. So what happened with me? Sorry I talk like this. I got to be more conversational, but I got to get this information out because I got to get in the library. What happened to me? Okay, 2018, I started making these videos, these weird videos in my garage. And what was I drinking? I started drinking White Claw, my hand to God. What did Owen Benjamin do? He started drinking White Claw. Okay, but what they ran on me was the Q-op. They ran the questioning op. Okay, when I was down in Florida, and that's why people who like to throw their weight around, people who have an Instagram with their picture with Dave Krieger from Michigan, the one and only Solly Jakunis calling me on the phone. I don't even know this person. I tried to tell you before. I don't know Solly Jakunis. She knows me. I don't know James Kenneth Graham. That bitch knows me. I want to state that for the fucking record with these trash. Who is she pictured with? Dave Krieger on her Instagram. I did a photo shoot with Dave Krieger. I knew these people. I knew Heidi Bloom. I knew Andre and Denise. I thought we were friends. We are not friends. I want to make sure. It's like De Niro in Casino. Either you're too stupid or you're in on it. Either way, you're out. Either way, you're out. You fucking trash. Let me tell you guys something. Bam, you want to laugh at it? Go laugh at it. Because these same people were laughing at me. You trash your brain. His brain is trashed. And the same thing was happening to me. And I come back and I'm drinking White Claw. There's some guy from calling himself Kevin. Take a look at my community section, guys. I always say it's the comment section. I make a mistake. It's in the community section. Kevin from Criminal Class Press calling me on the phone. That's one of the Fed rats who were involved in cranking the algo in 2018. My parents are so old, God bless them. My mom didn't even want me to come home. My sister was a bitch. And by the time I figured this out, it took me 3 years, read between the lines. 3 years took me to figure it out. But I got them all. And it was people that I knew, the people that I named that are involved. Now, these people from Michigan, I don't know what their problem is with me, but obviously they're running the Royal Oak Police Department. They're running roughshod over the Royal Oak Police Department. They certainly have more power than them. They certainly have more power. The mayor must go to Solly Jakunis and Rocco the dog catcher and ask them, call them on the phone and say, hey, what should I do? Is this the way it is in Royal Oak, Michigan? I told you my brain was melted. I come back up to Michigan. Where did I find myself? A person named Cindy Weeks is telling me that I'm suicidal. They can run this shit through your smartphone, guys. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful who your friends are, too. I don't have a friend in the world. But we all seek camaraderie. We all seek these friendships. And it's just pretty shameful. Like I said, you don't love somebody, you know what? You tell them that you don't love them. You don't torture them, especially with an algorithm. Whatever, dude. Anyway. What a phony. So, sorry, I got distracted there. Anyway. So, Bam Margera, he's in a bad place. He can't recover because he's wrapped up in this this device. Okay? I'm not on any other social media. I'm only on YouTube. I'm YouTube exclusive. I have every right to be here. I have every right to tell my story. My story, the only reason my story is interesting is because I'm willing to tell it. Do you think I wanted to mention a lot of things that were in my Memoir? That's why I knew my memoir was good. And because a bunch of jealous bitches, men, can't handle it. Not one of them came up to me and said, hey, Gordon, I read your book, man. They didn't question me about it, and they didn't fucking say anything. The only person who did is that bitch, Jason Clifton. That sissy coward. You're going to get what's coming to you. Make no mistake about it. I'm not taking these videos down. If YouTube wants to take them down, you take them down. I'll start another channel. These people know their involvement, and they crank the algo up on the phone, and this is connected to a FedRat. This FedRat was coming in. They were doing it all the way back when I had a flip phone in the 04 era. I was, like I said, my band, we played in Warren, Michigan. Why? Because they knew that I was in the Hive actually writing songs. They know that I'm an actual songwriter. But can I get any support? No. You're crushed, Gordon. You're this, you're that. You got to know your place. Here's our hero over here. This person over here. What? These people are insane. And it's the same thing that happened to BAM as what happened to me, but it was worse. They ran Q-ops, which means you start questioning your sexuality. This is key. Okay? And this is kind of stuff. And the suicide ops, like I said, this person comes and saves me, quote unquote, on Facebook, Cindy Weeks from Suicide Ops. Next thing I know, I'm up at her art show. Where? Royal Oak, Michigan. I don't have one connection to Royal Oak, Michigan. Okay? Not one. Except for when I was on a fake shoot at Gasoline Alley. And guess who was there? You guys see this? These guys tell on themselves. I already contacted the Department of Justice. They will never go up against Facebook. I prove things on my show, guys. I prove it right here on my show. Prove it all night, prove it all night, and I'll prove it all night for you. That's right. Please donate. I want to get my guitar out so I could do some guitar episodes. This is my favorite part of the day. We are figuring things out through cognitive therapy, through Sigmund Freud. Here's to Sigmund Freud. Here's to Carl Jung. They had to go their separate way, of course. What are they going to do? Hang out together forever? What was I going to do? Hang out with my band forever? No, man. Either you're going to play or you're going to go home. These people don't understand. When you're a singer, you have to use the Alexander technique. Okay? And that's what I learned in New York. I learned the Alexander technique. Okay? And you breathe in from your stomach, and you're not going to be concentrating your singing here or here. Mine's really nasally. Right? You'll be taking these big, deep breaths. Right? So this is stuff that I'm able to do. Okay? And unfortunately, like I said, now all this harassment, this is all connected to the Internet of Stranger Things. Okay? He's in a 360 panopticon. I talked about these before. These are very real. Okay? You're in a 360 targeted panopticon. Okay? Now, if you want to watch some TV show thinking that the FBI's out there running around, catching serial killers, well, good for you. If you want to go along with that belief system. What they do is they target individuals, and what happens a lot of time. By the way, that reminds me. They just did a comedy about the plumbers, the Nixon plumbers. Excuse me, sorry. You see this new comedy? I'd love to see it, right? About Nixon's plumbers, how they created Watergate by being like these big idiots. Of course, they make them look like they're idiots. Why? Because these were the same guys who were involved in the murder of John F. Kennedy. Okay? These are the same guys. That's why they were involved the entire time, all through those years, all through LBJ's years. Okay? There's books about this. I don't care who the lone gunman is. I don't really care about that. The fact is, your president was assassinated. And there was so much information that Oliver Stone, who was actually in the military, was able to do a film about it, right? So that's telling you something right there. And by the way, this is a long episode, guys. Thank you very much for hanging in there. The editing of Natural Born Killers and the editing in JFK is very sporadic. It's very, whatever. It's very quick, okay? It's very disconjointed, really. The editing is really fast-paced. Now, take a look at what's going on now with TikTok, okay? I watch these shorts on YouTube, okay? I watch these shorts, and sometimes while I'm letting my device charge and I'm at an end in my story, I can't go any farther, then I'll just sit there and I'll just scroll through these videos. Most of the ones I watch are for food because I'm really hungry all the time. In case you don't know, my budget is only $238 per month. I'll show you guys next month. They gave me some extra money. I don't know why. I guess the government gangsters felt sorry for me. Let me tell you something. That's our money. This is something called synarchy. You don't get to be a gang. Okay? And that's why they tell kids not to rat. Don't be a rat. Take a look at my playlist. I want to talk about Richie Aprile. Okay? I love The Sopranos. Okay? The Sopranos, the reason I'm writing Linoleum Blown Apart is because of a film that David Chase did called Not Fade Away. Okay, that's part of the reason. Okay, he did a film called Not Fade Away because he loved rock and roll so much. Take a look at the soundtrack for The Sopranos. Take a look at, what's the guy's name from Bruce Springsteen's band? Right, Little Steven's Garage. He had a great show. I used to listen to that show on satellite radio. Okay, it's all about rock and roll. Okay, and this music is very important. This is the music I came up with. I know it's great. Right at the end of Not Fade Away, excuse me, he's got all the 60s rock and roll in there. What does he put right at the end? He puts the Sex Pistols doing a cover right at the end. The Sex Pistols, don't forget, they came out in 1977. I'm not a big fan of John Lydon. I'm just not. He's too much of an alcoholic. Reminds me of Bam Margera. Take a look at my playlist. I put up a video of Richie Aprile. Richie Aprile, character on The Sopranos, is amazing. This character is scary as hell. And this is what we're looking for here. You understand? Somebody who's completely believable. You believe every single word out of this guy's mouth. You don't deny it. Look at his eyes. It's crazy. What does he do? He gives Christopher the advice that I should have got right around the same time. Right? I knew this bitch wasn't going to be my woman, but what are you going to do, man? I was young. I was just like Christopher. I didn't know any better. I was old school. I saw what my father did. And so I emulated that. I saw basically, really, to be honest with you, what my mother did. And I emulated that. Right? How both my father and my mother, how they both operated through violence. Anthony Lecrecchio got violent with my mother. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's their generation. And so Richie Aprile goes to Christopher. He goes, yeah, you don't put your hand on a woman unless you give her your name, right? So that's old school, right? Like if you're married to her, you could do whatever you want. You're not a pimp, right? You're not a pimp on a blimp, as Alex Stein likes to say. It's fucking retarded, right? You don't have a corral of bitches or whatever. That's your wife. That's your woman. You know, that's a different story, right? Okay? That's the only talking to that I needed when I was dating that low-level ecstasy dealer from the Gambino crew. That's a talking that I never got. All I got was a bunch of shit up to 30 years later by a bunch of phony rats who run with Fed rats. That's right. My phone was tapped all the way back. My flip phone was tapped And they were running these ops on me way back then in Michigan once I got back. Don't think that I forgot one thing. Don't ever think that I forgot one thing, because I didn't. And I just want to thank you guys all very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I could really use your support. I'm trying to get... you guys want to wait through this thing? It's a half an hour show. We went over a lot. Bam Margera, I think he's gonna die. I gotta be honest. His brain's melted. Good old ladder 4. Good old ladder number 4. Out here in Los Angeles. Bam Margera is going through the same thing that I went through in 2018. And a guy from Kevin from Criminal Class Press was fucking calling me on the phone and fucking with me. And this stuff is scary. And these guys are feds, they're cops, and they're fed rats, and they're fucking rats. And that's who was getting the money from Bam Margera. They're getting his money, man. That's what they're doing. What he has to do is what I did. What do I always do? I had quit everything all the way back. I just didn't know what was going on or where it was coming from. That's the scariest part. I quit everything. Personally, what I did is I went back to work. And it took another 6 months to really heal from that. And I did. I ended up healing from it. And that's what Bam needs to do. But the problem is he's never going to get off social media. So they're always going to be able to crank that algorithm up. And he'll always be trapped in the snare. Thank you very much for watching my show. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know.